Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
We are back here with what I like to call the Germ Police. Irwin Stromeyer here. Thank you again for joining us. Please introduce yourself to our listeners today.
Thank you for having me again, Joe. My name is Irwin Stromeyer, and I am the owner of Sterile Space Infection Defense, otherwise known as the Germ Police. We are, from what I can tell, a one-of-a-kind company providing public infection prevention and control services to commercial facilities as well as residences.
Great. And you're based out of where exactly? And where do you do your work?
Pardon?
You're based out of where in New Jersey? And then where do you do your work?
Oh, okay. We are based out of West Orange, New Jersey, which is Essex County in the northern part of the state. And we service pretty much the Northeast area, but we also have the ability to go further out of state, like some of the clients that we have in Dallas, in the Fort Worth area of Texas, some in Florida, some in Oklahoma. But in the Northeast area, we have clients between New Jersey, Pennsylvania, Connecticut, New York, Massachusetts, Delaware, and Maryland.
Great. And just to describe your services. Now, you've been around way before COVID came and people really started caring about germs as much as we do now. Would you mind just explaining that? And then we'll get into the day's topic of conversation.
Sure. So what we do is we will come into a facility, be it an actual commercial space or a residence. We do a deep decontamination of all of the items in that space. That includes all the furniture, the fixtures, equipment, other items that might be in there. Then we do a terminal disinfection of all of the high frequency touch points. That would be things like doorknobs, light switches, railings, countertops, sink faucets, toilet flush valves, appliance handles and keypads like maybe a microwave might have. So all those get terminally disinfected. And then we apply a specialized antimicrobial coating, which does not wash off. And we warranty that coating as part of our service to last for 12 months, inhibiting the ability of microbes to survive, thrive, and recolonize your surfaces.
Wow.
Basically, we have the healthy home zone, the healthy child zone, the healthy fitness zone, the healthy dining zone, the healthy patient zone, the healthy guest zone, for all different areas of business and home. Great.
Would you mind telling us your website to start?
Sure. It's www.sterilespace.com, and that's Sterilespace.com. Okay. And I can be reached if somebody wants to reach out and call me at 973-714-8288. And if any of your listeners want to call in, I'm sure they have a call-in number for the studio.
Perfect. Thank you so much. That's right. 631-317-1291 if you have any questions. In the meantime, let's chat. So for today's topic of conversation, enlighten us.
Well, as you know, we're big on the concept of public health security, but today we're going to discuss the concept of public health security with the new COVID-19 variant named Delta, which is the most common form of COVID now around. It's moved around the world. It started in India, then went to the UK. Now it's here. And as of yesterday in the news, it was reported that 99+% of all current COVID deaths are from the Delta variant. And the reason this is so important is because a variant is a mutation or a separate strain of an infection. And the way that happens is that the more you allow a virus to spread, or anything, bacteria, fungus, mold, algae, and it comes into contact with other hosts, it has the ability to mutate or change away from the original format to a different one, which is why there's been a lot of discussion lately about whether the vaccines that are out there would be effective against them. And from what we've seen so far, they are effective. But the big problem I see is with the younger members of our society, the young children who are too young to be allowed to be vaccinated. And as we've seen in several medical reports, different strains have really affected people very badly in having longer term effects than just getting over it and getting back to normal. And now with children who only have slightly developed immune systems, because when we're young, our immune systems are developing by all the things that we're exposed to. And then we're pretty strong immunity through our lifespan until we get into our 50s, 60s, 70s, and beyond, when the immune system starts to kind of wear out a little bit.
Yeah.
It dwindles in its ferocity against things that it feels don't belong in the body, and doesn't work quite as hard or as well. So where we were seeing a lot of deaths in elderly people last year when the virus first bloomed in this country, okay, now the big concern is with the children, because this variant it spreads very quickly, and the problem is, there was a report early this morning that there was some get together somewhere here in the United States, and for the holidays, for July 4th it was actually. And unfortunately, most of the people at that party were exposed to one or more people who had the COVID Delta variant, and now they've all got it.
Wow.
So that's the problem with public health security. One of the problems, I should say, with public health security is the importance of trying to keep from touching too many things that everybody else and their brother has touched, and also to keep as many surfaces as clean and potentially as germ-free as possible, so that these things do not spread so quickly.
So can we really do anything to avoid getting this variant?
Lock yourself in a bubble.
Okay, got it.
I don't recommend that. It's hard to get food deliveries in there. And that kind of
Yeah.
stuff. But no, really, what you need to do is you need to do exactly what the medical experts are telling us. You have to ignore any and all politicization of the pandemic, because that's really what got us in this mess in the first place.
True. Okay.
So without going down that rabbit hole, you need to wash your hands as often as you can, especially if you don't have gloves on. And even if you have gloves on, you can wash your hands, but you're really washing the gloves when the gloves are on, because germs get stuck to gloves. And if you're touching your eyes, your nose, and your face, and you're thinking, well, my fingers don't have any germs on them, the gloves that are on your fingers have germs on them. Okay. So not only do that, stay away from being too close to people, especially in public places like the mall or the supermarket or wherever you're going. I mean, if you're out in the park, it's a different story. But when you're in an enclosed space, it's important to stay away from people, especially people you don't know, who you don't know if they're vaccinated or not. So keeping your hands clean, keeping the surfaces in your workspace and in your home space clean, making sure that you and everybody around you has been vaccinated. All right. Those are the primary things that we can do to keep from getting this. But the problem is with the variant, as more variants become available through mutation and through spreading through the unvaccinated part of the community, okay, that's where you're going to see more problems. That's why they were initially talking about booster shots for the vaccines, in case these variants seem to be a little stronger. Now, remember, just because we're vaccinated doesn't mean we can't catch the infection. And even worse than that, even though it may not affect us or affect us badly, we can still spread it.
Yeah.
All you have to do is talk in a room, and you can spread virus by breathing. That's really why they wanted us, and still want us in certain situations, to wear masks. Because it's not so much that the mask is going to keep you from breathing in somebody else's exhale, okay? Because unless you're wearing a mask that's actually a rubber mask around your nose and mouth, you're not really going to be able to keep it all out. But if you've got the virus or any other illness, okay, and you're coughing or sneezing or breathing, if you have a mask on, those germs, those infectious microbes and cells can't get that far. They get stopped at the mask. Maybe some get out, but it's minuscule amounts in comparison to walking into a room and coughing like you got a smoker's cough or something like that, where you could really spread a lot of infection.
Now, do you think people should be still wearing masks? I mean, I know the mandate was lifted in a sense, but...
Well, I think, yes. I think if you want to be smart about it, okay? Because look, let's face it, all politics aside, we're all Americans, we're all in the same country, and let's face it, we got to look out for each other. And those who don't want to look out for anybody but themselves, go do what you're going to do, and whatever happens to you, happens to you. But if you want to be smart about it, like I said, you keep your hands washed, keep hand sanitizer with you, wear the masks when you're in public places that you don't normally go to or where there's a lot of people, okay? And even if you walk into, a store to go buy, something for the beach or whatever, there's people in there you don't know. And there's nothing wrong with wearing a mask. There's absolutely nothing wrong with it, okay? It shows that you care about others, that you don't want to spread your germs to them. And like I said, even if you've been vaccinated, you can carry the infection and spread it, even though it's not affecting you, okay?
Wait. I didn't know that. Repeat that. So technically, repeat that one more time.
Even though people are vaccinated, like I said a few minutes ago,
Yeah.
okay, you can still catch an infection that you're vaccinated for, and it may not affect you at all, or it might just give you a minor indication that you're not feeling well. But the worst part is, even though you won't really get sick from it, okay, as you breathe and talk and cough and sneeze and touch your mouth or your nose and then touch a surface, you're spreading those germs. So a mask, if you cough or sneeze, will stop the mass volume of what's coming out of you. It'll get caught in the mask. Whereas if you walk into, let's say, a restaurant, and as you're walking through the tables, there's other people there that aren't wearing masks, and you're infected, and you don't have a mask on, and for whatever reason you sneeze or cough, if you're infected, you are then introducing those people that you're walking past to whatever infection it is you're coughing or sneezing out. Now, a perfect example of how well masks work, because a lot of people with the politicization of this whole thing, oh, masks are taking away our personal freedoms, and oh God, please don't get me started. I'm already started, but anyway.
All right.
The problem is that you don't want to spread, and even though they tell you, cough or sneeze into your elbow and stuff like that, you have to be careful, because with the flu, I think it was the 2019 death rate was somewhere around, I forget, it was either 30 or 60,000, and over the last 16 months it's been a third of that, because for quite a number of months we were kept away from other people by being told to stay home, which in and of itself is a great way to keep from getting sick. But the use of masks kept us from spreading, not necessarily catching, but spreading a disease. And although a lot of infections are caught because they go airborne, still the vast majority of infections, because that, whether you cough or sneeze, eventually whatever came out of you is going to be pulled down by gravity and hit a surface. And if it's still viable when it lands on that surface and somebody touches that surface and touches their eyes, nose, or mouth, they just picked up whatever you left there. And certain germs can live on surfaces for weeks and months. It's not like they die within 20 minutes or anything. Okay, some things don't last that long. Okay, but other things can last. I mean, MRSA can last, I think it's up to 16 months on the surface. Of course, all the environmental conditions have to be just right. But still, even if it lasts a week or one whole day, imagine how many people can touch a surface that's got whatever infection on it, if it can last for 8 hours, and then they touch their, or they're walking, they're leaving at the end of the day, and they put their hand on somebody's desk to chat with them for a moment. They go home to their newborns or their young children, and they go to wash their face before they have dinner and wash their hands. But some of the germs that you brought home from the office might get on their face or on their lips. They lick their lips from having dinner. Next thing you know, they've got whatever. Yeah. So that's why the concept of public health security is so important, and it really needs to be spoken about a lot more.
Got it. Now, what happens if a facility comes down with COVID-19? What can you from Sterile Space Defense help us with? How does it work?
Well, we've had cases like that over the last 16 months. And I can tell you that what we do is we go in, we suit up in disposable, what you might call a hazmat suit,
Hmm.
with eye protection, breathing protection, which would either be a mask or a respirator. When I'm working in an area, I use what's called a paper unit, which is basically an air filtration system that pumps filtered air into a piece of headgear or helmet that you wear. So you're constantly breathing
Okay.
fresh, clean air. Okay. Then we go in, we decontaminate every surface, every countertop, every desk, every door, everything you're going to be touching
Wow.
is decontaminated right down to its natural material or its original material, I should say. Then we go after all the high frequency touch points. That would be doorknobs, light switches, computer keyboards, cabinet handles, appliance handles, um, everything that's there. And we terminally disinfect it. And what that means is we're using a broad spectrum, high kill level disinfectant, which will kill anything that we were not able to get off the surface through our decontamination process.
Wow.
That now leaves us an extremely clean and germ-free surface. And that's where most people stop. They figure, okay, we got it all, great, we're
Yeah.
good. No, but the first person to come into that space and cough, touch, or sneeze on that surface starts the process of colonization of that surface by microbes all over again. So the third step of our program is applying an antimicrobial coating, which if you could see it on a microscopic level, would look like oodles and oodles of little swords standing on their handles, okay? And so that as a cell comes down on it, it gets impaled on the coating, and the coating has an electrical charge to it. So when it hits the part of the blade of the molecules that has the charge, it's zapped and killed besides being impaled. So the nice thing is that it works very quickly. It lasts on a surface, but like anything else, you got to keep it clean. So using our service does not suspend the need for regular and good quality cleaning. That's critical. So once we do that service, okay, we've removed as much of the COVID as we can get to. We have disinfected and killed whatever we couldn't get to. And then we have treated all those surfaces with a protective layer that inactivates the microbes when they come down on it, and therefore they become inert and they're basically gone and not a threat anymore.
Mm-hmm. Now, when you talk about other people coming in to clean the process, regular cleaning crews at this point should be coming in to maintain, correct?
Yes, absolutely. Depending on, I mean, if your staff, depending on what kind of a business you are, if your staff does the cleaning for some reason, they've got to be good at it. And unfortunately, it's amazing. I mean, until I was truly trained on proper decontamination, AKA cleaning procedures, I didn't realize how much I really didn't know about cleaning. I mean, growing up, we had a housekeeper that would come every now and then and clean the house. And, so as children, you saw, oh, they run the vacuum over the carpet, they spray the stuff on the table and they wipe it with a paper towel. And I guess that's cleaning, just like young boys learn how to shave by watching their dads. All right. And some of them would get a nice clean shave, and others would go to work with lots of little cuts on their faces.
Yeah.
So, it's important to get the proper training for decontamination and or just general cleaning. And there are services out there that offer the courses, potentially in person at this point, but definitely by remote Zoom meetings and things of that nature. So it's important to clean regularly and clean as well as you possibly can.
Just a quick random question. What about people with carpeting in their house? I know people track stuff into their home. Unfortunately, some people wear their shoes in the house, not mine, but still, the carpets hold the germs. What is the best way to clean a carpet? Is there anything that you could put down on it to disinfect it?
Yes, and I'm going to say loosely,
Mhm.
use the term of one of our services called carpet disinfection service. Now, technically speaking, you cannot actually sterilize a carpet.
Okay.
And you can only disinfect it to a certain extent because there's over a period of time, so much stuff, dust, dirt, biologics, everything you've stepped on while you were out of the house that day and walked onto the carpet with has been transferred. And I forget the exact name of the association, but it's kind of like the Carpet Installers Association or something like that, did a study with a medical group and found out that the average square inch of home carpeting, not even commercial carpeting in a building, home carpeting, has over 200,000 live bacteria per square inch. And if you think about how young families have children clawing their way across the carpet before they learn to walk, and then they stop for a minute and decide to put their fingers in their mouth, the thought is just turbo disgusting.
I know. So it's
But what we do is we come in and we use a commercial grade carpet cleaning machine. We don't sell it as carpet cleaning. We sell it as decontamination. And we go over the carpet in two directions very slowly to extract as much of the dirt and as much of the biologics as we possibly can get. All right, you'll never get all of it. It's just the nature of the beast. And if it's a relatively high pile carpeting, and if it's a very dense carpet, it's even more difficult because dirt and dust and other microbes fall down eventually through the fibers of the carpet. And once they get more than halfway down, those are pretty much in there. You're not going to get them unless you pay somebody to like clean the carpet 10 times in a row. And you still won't get all of it. But what we do is we go back and forth in two different directions with an injection extraction machine to get as much of the dirt and junk out. Then we go over it with an ultraviolet wavelength C light rig. It exposes the carpet to ultraviolet wavelength C. And what ultraviolet wavelength C does is it damages, it basically shatters the DNA in cells.
wow.
Okay. So now if the cell within the DNA within the cell, once it's damaged by this light, essentially the cell dies. So whatever's in it dies as well. So first we go over to extract as much as we can. Then we disinfect it with this light. And then we go over it one last time with our antimicrobial coating, which will coat all the fibers. We spray it kind of heavy, but we do not supersaturate the carpet. All right. And that way, anything that we were not able to extract, as the liquid soaks down into the fibers, it will damage and inactivate a lot of the microbes that are still down in the carpet while the antimicrobial is liquid. Once it bonds and dries to the carpet fibers, then newly deposited microbes, whether from somebody's bare feet or from whatever was on their shoes or from the dog sneezing all over the place, okay, the vast majority of those microbes will be inactivated when they get in contact with the coating that is on the fibers of the carpet.
And like in homes, then for example, like how do you like lift up beds and dressers? Do you do underneath it? You just do the
We don't move furniture because we don't want to be accused of breaking anything or anything wind up missing, perhaps. Okay. The only one in the family I know that goes under the bed all the time is the dog. And to be honest with you, I love my dog to the end of the earth and back, but I'm not worried about my dog catching anything from being under the bed.
if anything, he's bringing it in. Yes. And my
Exactly. He's bringing it in.
got it. All right.
So, that we work around the furniture.
Perfect. All right. So we're almost out of time here. Remind us one more time how germs actually spread to make us sick. And then we're going to end today's show. Thank you for this info on this whole Delta variant. I didn't realize how insane it is and how crazy.
It's not the last variant that's going to pop up, believe me. Okay, so how do germs actually spread? Well, according to the CDC and other health agencies, germs are spread most often, over 80% of the time, from surface to surface by hands, these little things with the 5 little digits on them, okay? And the germs are picked up on your hands every time you touch a surface. So whether you're touching the keyboard on the copier, or whether you're touching the handle on the coffee pot, or whatever, doorknobs, you're picking up and leaving germs, okay? The germs that you touched from the thing 5 minutes ago, you're leaving on the next thing you touch, and whatever anybody else left there, you're picking up. So that's how germs are spread most often. Coughing and sneezing, of course. All right. If you're in a medical facility like a hospital or an elder care facility, germs are spread by everybody moving within those facilities. And if there are, if there's an incident where there's blood or anything, any other bodily fluid, that's a whole different level of germ spreading.
Got it. Well, at this time, unfortunately, we must say goodbye. So would you mind just telling us the best form of contact for you?
Yes, you can reach me directly at 973-714-8288, which is voice or voicemail or text message. If you want to email me directly, it's Irwin, IRWIN, the little @ symbol, sterile, STERILE, space, SPACE.com, or go to the website for information at www.sterilespace.com.
Great. Thank you so much for your time. We appreciate it. You have a great day, and everyone else the same. Stay tuned.
Stay safe and stay healthy, my dear. Talk to you next time.
Thank you.
Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
For nearly 2,000 severely injured veterans, everyday life has become filled with barriers.
Day-to-day simple tasks can become pretty daunting.
I have to carry my chair up 2 flights of steps or have somebody do it for me.
What scares me the most is just the falling.
When I'm struggling with my house, I think, to have that one great barrier just knocked down, it's crucial.
Home for Our Troops is a wonderful nonprofit that builds a
Mortgage-free, fully adaptive, handicap-accessible house. And there's no catch.
It'll be our very first home that we've ever owned.
This is a game changer.
This is where your life begins again.
We need you to join us in completing this important mission. Please visit hfotusa.org and help build homes and rebuild lives.
Because of you, everything's going to be okay.